Hello, everybody. I'm Overhaul, and today we'll be reviewing Fire Force Chapter 250, called Those Who Resist. The usual disclaimer at the beginning of my videos. Not a kid-specific channel. Although the topics I discuss might look like they're for kids, it's very likely I'll start talking about stuff that aren't for kids. So if you're a child, I would advise you not to watch this video. As for everybody else, let's continue. Now, we started chapter off with a little more unique front page. You know how Fire Force has that like extra art in front of it to like some kind of great representation or something. In this one we actually start with a dialogue and we basically tell us how long has it been since the last cataclysm and what year we are in, which fun enough is the same number of chapters as the last cataclysm in 250. I intentional intentional reference or accidental. You make the call. So yeah. Now we also get another page which is just supposed to again signify despair or cataclysm style, like what we were all been waiting for. By the way, we still have no idea what or how does the actual cataclysm look like. Like, does it just blow up or something? We have no idea. All I'm gonna mention is that we get a little information about the volume 21 of Fire Force. It's going to be released on January 26th, which is a bit of a surprise to me since I thought for sure that the volume was going to be released in December, but I'm pretty sure the date for that volume was before the whole pandemic, so I guess it was just pushed back to January. I'm not mad about it. After all, it's just for about 2 months until it's gonna be released in my state. I mean, it doesn't matter the fact that it feels like it's a month of gap. It doesn't matter the fact that the volume 20 hasn't even been shown yet if it's already out, and the fact that no store that actually sells books is either open or is going to even have it about me driving 2 hours worth away. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's just air on the cover. Not sure why anyone would want that. Let's get back to the chapter before I burst in anger. Thank God she at least appears in the next chapter, but more prominently. So yeah, we begin this chapter with basically Hinua shooting at Chawan, and we get some really great panel disposition where we start with a blast to show how big the blasts are, to show that they really do hit a punch, and how Hinua just shoots at him, but Chawan is just taking it all. So yeah, and we also get that like close-ups of their faces, how Chawan is grinning while Hinua is just standing. Alright. Now Obi calls out that we don't have time for this and we should go on and we need to go past him quickly. But Obi, Chawan is kind of built like to be like kind of like the tank, like the defense, the real shield. And you've seen, or at least I'm pretty sure you were informed about what happened in Hajima. I think instead of you telling what to start shooting, you should go there, grab Chawan, and push him away. That would be honestly more practical than having Hinua blast him. So yeah, now we cut to Ritsu saying what a pity company A, or just what a pity. Which alright, wait, so you're probably like one of the least liked, or one of the most indifferent members of the White Clad. In fact, you probably of the importance the most, and yet, so you should probably shut up. Not to mention that your power level is very low. Seriously, you're only living because John and Dragon are there. Outside that, you'll be all that. So yeah. Now we get a couple of panels with the 8. Like we see Tamaki fighting and her looking at something. I'm not sure what. Maybe an Inferno is heading to Ugon. We see Ugan on the ground. We see Obi shooting with arrow shooting as well, which is the most of arrow for this chapter. And Maki, I mean, destroying a couple of infernos, but nothing else. What we really, this is really more like a kind of a chapter between Dragon and Arthur, since Dragon and Arthur are fighting right now, and the hits on Dragon from Arthur are pretty much nothing. They really are nothing. So, and though Arthur does look a bit worse, it's nothing major as well. Like, he's not bleeding or he's just like the standard, you were damaged, but it's not major type of injury. You know how like anime have those like scratches on them where you're like, how did you even get them? Is that supposed to be like someone kind of like piercing the skin or something? You know, that's what we pretty much get. So yeah. And Chara and Dragon starts to monologue doing this since, you know, he has the advantage and the hits are clearly worthless. Basically saying, yeah, your strikes are nothing. I'm the strongest. Those little weak blows you have are nothing. It doesn't matter how strong you get. The typical, I'm the strongest villain monologue, which, alright, Dragon, out of curiosity, why don't you go against someone like Benimaru? Like, legitimately, Dragon, why don't you go against Benimaru? Like, he is the guy who has the stake as the strongest fire soldier. This is just some random kid who calls himself, I am the Knight of Camelot. So why are you focusing on him instead of that guy? Like, if you really want to prove you're the strongest, go against Benimaru or at least Conroe. Because from what I saw, Arthur is still not considered at their level. I remember you could say he would put up more of a fight than just being half-assed away, but again, if you want to prove you're the strongest, go against those guys. Don't go against Arthur. Well, I can imagine that, I mean, seriously, why don't you go against Benimaru? But yeah. Now, in this panel, the thing about Dragon is, although he's supposed to be a dragon, he doesn't really look like a dragon. Like, he has a very human-like shape. It's just that his power is so overwhelming, and his sleeves are pretty dragon-like. So, what Okubo is doing in this chapter is, like, at the end, with the final flip mouse, I would say, or at least in the middle, is make Dragon kind of have that, like, a dragon-like silhouette. Like, you kind of, like, it's not exact, it's more like just kind of covered, like, to become more like a dragon shape and to be like kind of like this overwhelming huge force. Like, it's basically just to have a very good representation of being a dragon, which is pretty good. I mean, granted, it doesn't look like a goofy, especially the first panel, which it looks like it's more like, you know how you have that like silhouette panel of some really weird individuals, and then there's that like one in the back, like you can see them, but you're not gonna focus on them. Like maybe they're like the weakest in the group or something, where they have like supposed to have this intimidating look, but they have like a very goofy or kind of like bland face or something. Yeah, that's what Dragon looks like in the first panel, when that whole dragon-like appearance starts. So yeah. Now, during Dragon's conversation, we switch to Charon saying, "You've lost company, Ave, and the true purpose of the world, the story of this whole, is death." Now again, there is a theory going on that the ending of Fire Force is gonna be a bit more of a morbid one, more tragic, but alright people, let's be real here. Would anyone really like if, let's say, in the next couple of chapters, the cataclysm happens, everything gets burned down to the crisps, and everyone dies? Like, legitimately, would anyone like that as an ending? No, it's not going to be. So I'm guessing it's going to be a more tragic, like, ending, like, maybe more characters die, maybe a bunch of major characters die, but I don't think it's going to end up killing everyone. All the question is now is how this cataclysm is going to happen, or how they're going to stop it. So I wouldn't be surprised if there information that Arrow didn't know, information that could help them fix it or something. I'm not sure, but I'm sure we're gonna get something. So yeah, Chai has his speech, and Dragon So continues his speech with Arthur and says, "You in your heart is despair. Like the force of nature can storm around me, and it would be a breeze to me. All you have now is a heart filled with despair." So yeah, again, Dragon's talking big about himself, which again, go fight Mario Connor if you wanna prove that you're the strongest. But yeah, Arthur does. There is a shown a fact like during that scene where Johnny's kind of like trying to look very dragon-esque. You can even see Arthur being like, "How could have I thought that I could have defeated Dragon?" But even so, we don't actually know what he says fully, but in the end, the final page with Arthur has him say, "I still am probably Night King or something. I'm not sure." But yeah. Now the final pages of the chapter you in Inferno possessed by Giovanni, putting the key in and twisting it and unlocking the door. Now, also Vulcan's there and kind of doing that whole final stretch to stop it. Now the question is obviously, and that is, how has the Cataclysm been activated? Now I can't say for sure because the spoilers for the next chapter don't really involve that. I mean, there's a good moment, a very good chapter. In fact, I would say it's even just by the appearance, already looks better than this chapter. Not just because of Arrow, but you know it. But we don't really know if it's activated or there's something else that has to happen. Like we don't know if Use Inferno has to open the door and then press the button or something. Like so far it's just been the key to insert in and then open it. Although that could also just mean that Infernos will come out. So we don't know. Like how do you turn a planet into a sun? Like now I may not. I mean, it's been a while since I've been reading or listening or doing anything related to astrophysics, but I'm pretty sure the sun is not a solid. Well, it's not the same thing as a planet. Like I'm pretty sure the sun is basically just like a giant spherical fireball. Like I'm sure there's a great explanation. I'm sure some people can explain. In fact, I won't even be surprised. There are some people who are gonna watch this and gonna tell me exactly what the sun is. But let's be real here. It's more like a not really a solid form. So that would mean the Earth becoming the second sun would probably be more like would basically just be a rock bursting than literally a giant fireball. So the question is again, how are they gonna do it? Like, I mean, the failed cataclysm made storms and made things just like unlivable, as well as make a bunch of like volcanic locations. So would it just be a bunch of volcanoes all erupting at once? Would there just be a bunch of infernals bursting over? Like, would anyone who is under a certain level of power, like civilians for example, just burst into Inferno and then Infernos like the demon form of Burns, Benimaru, Conroe, or just the 8 pillars will come out as these infernal like creatures like Demon Himea, Demon Shinra, Demon Shu. I wonder if Arrow would be able to tame Demon Shu. I mean, she is basically hit, or would Arrow protect Demon Shu since she's his pillar? Who knows? So yeah, I'm really curious on how it's gonna happen. Like again, as much as it would make sense for it to have a more tragic ending, I do not feel like it's gonna be one of those oh shit, everyone dies. Like, oh my god, the world is destroyed. Like, I'm pretty sure, maybe, okay, it's probably gonna be like a lot of population is like decreased, but it's still like hope for the future. Like, maybe the thing is, yes, the plan does partially succeed. They do end up getting a good amount of population, but Avengers is finished. The White Clan is finished. Like, they are no longer there, so now they can just rebuild without the Avengers' influence. So yeah, maybe Avengers finally comes. I mean, that chick I don't believe has actually done anything in the current present of the story since, well, since the Now World arc, if I believe correctly. I mean, I believe, well, no, I do believe she managed to get into the world, but we never saw her or anything. Yeah, I don't believe she's actually been like, doing anything since the Now World arc. Weird. You'd think she would at least show up during the final apocalypse, or at least been shown a bit. Who knows where she is at? So, anyway, this is my review of chapter 220, 220, of Fire Force. It was pretty much like not very much of what happened, just like a very cool speech, very cool art, but nothing else. So yeah, tell me in the comments below, what do you think this mechanism is going to end up resolving? Tell me in the comments below, and I hope you like this video. I hope you're gonna leave a like and subscribe to this channel for more videos in the future. And with that said, I cannot wait to see all people next time. Bye.